AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
All right, welcome in after further review here on a Wednesday presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Musso tentatively leading you along right here. Matt is going to come to you live from Spine Center of Louisiana here momentarily. Just a little bit of a reconnect, disconnect deal over there. We'll get you out to Matt as soon as possible here, but I'll push us off from the dock, get us started. Wednesday show, your Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Paul O'Neill's here as well. We got a pretty jam-packed show here for you today on AFR. Mickey Loomis went on Mad Dog Sports Radio. He updated kind of the statuses, off-season contract statuses of Cam Jordan as well as Alvin Kamara, former LSU Tiger, now Cleveland Brown, Jacobian Guillory, set to join us here in the second segment of the show. Saints UDFA Mason Shipley will be here in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Triplett, New Orleans Football. A lot to talk about with Mike here later on in the show. That'll be at 5:15 or so. I get Mike's thoughts on the UDFA class. Obviously, the signing of Martin Emerson, a cornerback the Saints added a day ago, as well as I'm sure we'll get Mike's thoughts on Mickey Loomis's latest comments on Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara. And then, by the way, LSU baseball. They got in the win column last night, 12-4. A pretty dominant, controlling victory over Southeastern in the penultimate midweek game of this 2026 season. But that's not really the story coming out of last night. I mean, sure, the freshmen played well, all those things. But Jay Johnson with an extremely, extremely encouraging update on the status of Friday night starter Casan Evans. Of course, Casan Evans went down, or I shouldn't say went down, was scratched this past weekend at Mississippi State with arm discomfort. Obviously did not pitch this past weekend. We played the update for you from Jay's coach's show on Tuesday's show about Evans, and Jay being very optimistic there. But the update Tuesday night was way better, honestly, there from Jay Johnson, and leads to a lot of questions here going forward with Evans and the rotation this weekend as the Tigers welcome in South Carolina. I guess I'll start right there for the show. Save the Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara. Really let Matt discuss that. And I mean, I already pre-recorded a Moose with the Box on this earlier, so I'll start there with Casan Evans and his status. So, again, scratch this past weekend, arm discomfort, you know that. Optimistic update from Jay Johnson on Monday on his coach's show. But then came a night ago after the Southeastern game, and this was probably about the, fourth or fifth question that Jay was asked in that press conference about Casan Evans. And he made no bones about Evans' status going forward for LSU.
He's okay. He's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. He's good to go. Yeah. So I don't know, because we haven't thrown in 5 or 6 days, how quickly we're going to reboot him back to the mound. That's the only part of it that we're not sure.
And that's a powerful quote to say there's nothing wrong with him, is what Jay Johnson just said. That's a great thing, because obviously, man, you look forward at this, you hear arm discomfort. We all know what that triggers in your brain. You wonder, okay, is it just discomfort? Is there potentially something structurally wrong there that could lead to him missing extended time? If you look at Casan Evans, and let's be honest, with Evans, the concern, the worry isn't really this season. LSU is going to need a near improbable lift to make it into the NCAA tournament field here in 2026. Okay, we understand that. With Evans, it's more, man, would this really be a thing where he needs surgery and then you don't have him for all of next year, where he figures to be a really big part of what LSU is doing? Not that he hasn't been a big part this year, but you understand what I mean. So to hear Jay Johnson say there's nothing wrong with him, that is super encouraging there for Casan Evans. All right, we have a moment here. Let's toss to Matt at the Spine Center. We'll come back with more thoughts there, obviously, as we get throughout the show. Matt at the Spine Center will come.
All right, welcome aboard. We're glad you're with us here from Spine Center in
All right, sounds like we lost Matt there again. Just dealing with some technical difficulties. Apologies on that. Please bear with us as we continue to kind of figure that one out. I'm just going to clumsily transition right back into the Casan Evans conversation. There's really not much else that, not really another direction to go. Okay, so Casan Evans, nothing wrong with him. Very, very good news there from Jay Johnson. How does that impact this weekend? That's really the question. The other part of that cut from Jay is he hasn't thrown in 5 to 6 days. I don't really need to tell any of you, starting pitchers are incredible creatures of habit where, I mean, they go through the same routine every week. Every day is the same routine leading up to their start. Whether it's their bullpen day, whether it's workout, conditioning, all of those, it's the same. So for him to be off of that routine, especially the throwing part of it, for 5 to 6 days, that feels like a heavy lift in and of himself for him to turn around and start a game this weekend for LSU. I'm not going to rule out that you couldn't potentially see him maybe in a relief role there for LSU, but starting feels tough. Anything you get out of him would be Lanyap, just because it adds another arm back to your staff, which is very thin right now. So let's assume, for the sake of this conversation, that Casan Evans doesn't start a game. Moving William Schmidt up to Friday is the easiest plan of action there. He has pitched on a short rest one time this year. It was the weekend series against Oklahoma. He moved from Saturday to Friday. He pitched very well. He gave up 1 run, struck out 7 in 4 innings. Short rest is not really what I'm concerned about with a guy like William Schmidt. The thing for Schmidt going forward the rest of this year and into next season, when he takes on, continues his role in the starting rotation, is the efficiency. The pitch count has just gotten far out of hand early here for Schmidt in games, and it has really hampered his ability to get deep into ball games. I mean, you look a week ago, he got through 4 innings through 89 pitches, right? I mean, against Milwaukee in his very first start, he threw 91 pitches, 3 1/3. That's just really been a trend for him throughout this season. And he strikes a lot of guys out, so that obviously runs your pitch count up in that regard, but he's not getting to the put-away stuff fast enough. And I don't just necessarily mean strikeout-wise, right? As a starting pitcher, you want to get the guy out in 5 pitches. You don't want to have that 35-pitch inning that Schmidt's had early. But moving him up, that's the easiest plan of action. Jay Johnson, the other big thing to come out of the radio show and Tuesday was that Marcos Paz is going to continue in the starting rotation. Jay Johnson said Tuesday night that Paz will start a game this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. It just won't be Friday, which again shows you that if Evans can go, you pitch Evans there, but if not, you just move Schmidt up and figure out where Paz goes. So Paz is going to get one of those 2 starts, and that's very encouraging in and of itself with him. He's been really good his last 7 times out, even in the outing against Mississippi State. He puts up a 0, pitches around trouble, puts up a 0 in that first after LSU gives him a 3-run lead. He gives up the 2-out homer to Ace Reese that ties the game at 3, but then gets the next hitter out. LSU gives them the lead right back in the top half of the third. He goes back out to the 3rd inning for the very first time and gets the shutdown 0. So each time LSU gave him a lead, he put up a 0. That's encouraging. The walk number was a little high, but the future for Marcos Paz is just, it's incredible, to be quite honest with you. Paz is central casting for what you want in a right-handed pitcher. 95-97. It is low effort from Paz. Easy velocity, no wasted motion, really good sharp slider. Like, he has the potential to be a true ace for this team at some point in his career. I'm not telling you that's next year. I'm not telling you, but like at some point in his career, that kind of is the path that he takes, and he ends up potentially being one of the best pitchers in the Southeastern Conference if that ends up being the case throughout his career. So that handles another spot. You look at it after that, you really have three options. It's Guidry, Cowan, and Grant Fontenot. If Zach Cowan hasn't pitched in this series by Sunday or when you're waiting to see who's going to start, then you can easily go to him. Now, he's had one start this year. Didn't particularly go great in conference play, that is. But he's a guy with a lot of starting experience. And, I mean, you go back to the spot start in Omaha, he was awesome. So that's an option for you there as well. Gavin Guidry just has not really worked out for him starting-wise. I mean, his three worst outings of the year starts. I think he is just far better suited for the bullpen, giving his personality, his, the emotion that he pitches with, him not being really concerned in any shape or form, with things don't bother him, right? That's what makes him so well at the back end. And throughout his LSU career, he's excelled mostly at the back end of games. That really leaves Grant Fontenot. And that's kind of the route that I would like to see them go. Again, provided Casan Evans cannot start for you this weekend, which doesn't, that feels unlikely given it's Wednesday here and he hadn't thrown in 5 to 6 days. Fontenot fits there. He was very good against Tennessee in the starting role. He matched up well against them. He didn't get any help from his defense, but he did not give up an earned run there. It did not go well for him against against Ole Miss. In the start, he recorded 1 out and was out of the game, and that really contributed to you digging a big hole. But you look at him with the start against UNO, his third start, he was 1 pitch away from 4 shutout innings. I get it. It's UNO, not the same deal as the SEC. Like, I understand that. But he was dominant that night. And he gave you 4 innings. So you've really seen him being able to extend. And that's the other thing about this. Even without Evans, you have a path here against South Carolina to where you might not have to stretch guys as thin as you would against Mississippi State. South Carolina, it's SEC opponent, I understand, but those are not the same 2 deals, right? That's not the same 2 teams. Humor me here, lay this out for you real quick, and then we'll hit a break, and I'll update you on Matt. Schmidt goes out, gets you 4 innings Friday night, maybe get you into the 5th. Then you could turn it over potentially to a guy like Gavin Guidry, who can get you 3, maybe 4 in relief, get you at least to the 8th inning. You could turn it over to Devin Sheeran, potentially close that game out. You come back the next day, Marcos Paz, okay, he got you 3 innings a week ago. Can he get you 3 innings at least again this time, maybe stretch to a 4th? And then you go to a guy like Zach Cowan, who should be back ready, rested after throwing 71 pitches on Tuesday. See how deep he can get you. Can he even get you home? And then you have Grant Fontenot ready to go potentially in a start. Again, this is just my hypothetical deal that I'm throwing out here. You have Fontenot ready to get in a start. And you go forward from there with guys like Garcia and Danny Lockenmeyer, and you have all those guys in there to mix in. Like, there's a much better path this week because you're planning for it, right? You have time. You're not spot starting Gavin Guidry an hour before the game, the first pitch goes. So, I mean, there's a path there. We'll see how they go, but the most important thing is very positive update there on Casan Evans. Okay. We're going to grab a break here. Matt is heading to studio. He was supposed to be at Spine Center today. It just didn't really come to fruition. We had a few technical difficulties. Unfortunately, we couldn't make that happen. So he is on his way back up to studio. He's going to take you the rest of the way. We're going to grab a break on the other side and go from there. If Matt's back, he'll be here. If not, we'll carry you through another segment right here on After Further Review on a Wednesday, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
AFR.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. You ever just get super frustrated at super slow internet? Oh, we've all been there, man. The little spinning wheel, slamming your keyboard or your mouse, pounding the desk because it's so frustrating. Your internet's so slow. Storm comes, knocks the power out, knocks the internet out, knocks the cable out. You're so frustrated. Maybe that's just me because I get kind of angry about things. But it's annoying. Nobody wants that to happen. Rev can help. They're local and 5 gigs, lightning fast speeds, and backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber. It's buried under the ground. I mean, you don't have to worry about a storm coming knocking the power lines down. Let's Rev. Listen, more than 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. REV. 90 years of local experience. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, welcome back in after further review here on a Wednesday presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Supposed to be joined by Jacobian Guillory right here. Of course, former LSU Tiger, signed a UDFA deal with the Cleveland Browns. Matt's on his way back into studio right now, so we're going to see if we can bump Jacobian just to the next segment. That way we can get the full interview in and have the segment be intended to what it was going to be. In the meantime, we'll just bump up around the SEC here and this note on the NCAA tournament here. Expansion to the NCAA tournament has long been rumored and has long been discussed. I mean, they went from 64 to 68, and from there it just kind of grew. Well, reports Tuesday into ESPN and others that the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand both the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. I know how this is obviously going to be met. Might as well just let everybody into the NCAA tournament this time, right? Let all 300 teams in there. Why are you rewarding teams who, have the bad records? You're going to have an at-large team get in there with, 12, 13, 15, 16 losses, whatever. And there's part of me that can understand that. At some point, you shouldn't make it into the tournament. Like, at some point, you have to put a cap on this. But the reason I can look at this and say I'm fine with it is it's not, you're adding 8 more teams. It's not this drastic, 76 sounds like so many, but you're adding 8 more teams. What you're doing is you're taking teams that deserve to be in, but their bids are stolen by teams not winning or by teams winning the conference tournament, and you're going to allow more of those teams in, which I'm fine with. I think that actually makes for a better product. Now, you can argue that expanding in this era of NIL and transfer portal and all of that, where parity is kind of diminishing, isn't necessarily good for the tournament and the game and doesn't necessarily add a level of intrigue. Again, I could see that argument. I don't actually disagree with that. I mean, the Cinderella largely has been eliminated from the NCAA tournaments and March Madness, given NIL and portal and things of that nature. But to me, this isn't just that drastic. It's 8 more teams. On the women's side, it's more interesting to me there just because you get some really non-competitive games with the field of 68 in the women's tournament. But again, it's 8 more teams. And the other thing that I'm good with, it doesn't change the schedule of the tournament. Instead of the first 4 on Tuesday night, you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have 12. You're going to have 12 games. It's just going to be a full day of tournament action, like Thursday and Friday are, and Saturday and Sunday are. And then, like, that'll start on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, the traditional 64-team bracket still starts. So it doesn't disrupt the schedule. It just adds more games with maybe some teams whose bids were stolen being allowed in the tournament as an at-large. I'm cool with that. If you are wondering if there's any chance that this doesn't go through, that feels pretty slim. There are still steps in terms of approvals with various NCAA committees and things of that nature, but the sources indicated to ESPN that, quote, those are just formalities. So this is going to be pushed through, and mid-May is the potential timeline for the announcement. So expect to hear something on this pretty soon regarding the official capacity of this expansion. It will be in effect for this coming season. Now, the other way you look at that is, man, if you're LSU and you're Will Wade going into your first year where, look, let's be honest, the SEC is a much better league than the last time he was in it. You've got one player on your roster right now. One. Now, I get it. He's working. There's time. There's guys who are going through the draft process that LSU's in on, all of those things. But this gives you a bigger bite of the apple in order to make the NCAA tournament in Will Wade's first year back at LSU. For LSU, this is a good thing. Like, you should be excited about this in that regard. So overall, I'm here for it. It's the same argument with the college football playoff of going from, 12 to 16 or 16 to 24, or hell, 12 to 24, which seems to be gaining steam. There's ways to make it work, still have it feel exclusive and like you've earned the postseason. So the outrage, not warranted for this. It's 8 more teams. The other interesting thing, and then we'll go around the SEC, is this isn't expected to be, according to the sources, a huge financial windfall for the NCAA. It still will be there will be a profit, but the added finances are basically going to cover the additional logistics, the logistical cost for the men's and women's tournament. And then still deliver, as a source put it to ESPN, quote, a modest financial upside. So it's not like, these moves are always about money, and this one is, but it's not like it's going to just completely double or triple the revenue of the tournament. It's going to cover the costs that you need to run this event with the added teams, and then give you a little bit more of a financial gain on the backside. So I like it. And I'm not the everybody gets a trophy guy, but I like it, and I think it'll be very good. All right, it's after further review here on a Wednesday edition. Your Goodwood, bringing it to you. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Scone en route back to the studio right now as we wait for him. Jacobian Guillory also set to join us here in the next segment. As we inch our way closer to that, we'll go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer met with the media on a Tuesday evening ahead of his first Garnet and Black road trip appearance. He updated the status of Dylan Stewart and Jacarius Peak. Said both are on track and ahead of schedule. Even, of course, he noted that Stewart, best course is still rest. Jacarius Peak is recovering from that injury he suffered in the 3-on-3 organized basketball event.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas landed a commitment from defensive lineman Eli Thornton for the class of 2027. 6'3", 315-pounder from Northeast Arkansas. Visited Arkansas a number of times, committed at the spring game. 3-star, had over 20 offers. Wisconsin, Illinois, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. 119th defensive lineman nationally. 7th commitment for Arkansas's class of 2027.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn landed a commitment from offensive lineman Jalen Moore out of the state of Georgia, committed Wednesday on his social media. Number 69 interior offensive lineman in the country, chose Auburn over Alabama, Georgia, Pitt, Missouri, and others. Visited Auburn at least 5 times, 6'4", 290 pounds, fourth commitment for Alex Golish's class of 2027. There you have it. That is around the SEC.
All right, back in studio. Thanks, Moose. We're going to knock out a break. Jacobian Guillory joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
If you're thinking of putting in a pool, man, Duplessis pools, my goodness, that's the way to go. You hear me say often that they offer a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. It's because they'll never skip a step. They're not going to accelerate the process to try to get it done more quickly. They're going to take the time to do it right. Think of it this way. You ever bake cookies? You know, you take cookies out of the oven too soon and they're like a gooey mess. Well, like you shoot gunite, it takes 21 days for gunite to cure. If you move to the next step before it's ready, the work's going to start to fail sooner. They'll never skip steps at Duplessis Pools. They're going to build you a pool that lasts. DuplessisBuilders.net is the website. That's where you start. Online at DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Whole host of former LSU Tigers off to their next destination. Among them, former LSU defensive tackle Jacobian Guillory signs a UDFA contract with the Cleveland Browns. Tank joins us now. Yo, man, how are you?
Oh, good. I signed with the Chargers, man.
Oh, my bad, dude. I wrote it down wrong. My bad.
Yes, sir. That's Bernard Goodness.
Dude, my bad, dude. I wrote it down.
All good.
Tank,
Much
we're
love
off to
to
a
him, bro.
rip-roaring start, babe. How are you, man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Man, I'm doing awesome, dude. And I'm actually looking at a picture of you, like, with the Chargers logo, dude. I wrote it down wrong. My bad.
It's all good, man.
Hey, walk me through the draft weekend. Was there a point where your phone rang? Did you think there might be a shot of getting picked?
Well, I was in contact with some teams before, and I thought I was going to get a call, but ultimately, I know there were some guys that they thought they were going to be left, like picked in the higher rounds, and they were picked in the lower rounds. So I knew I was in contact with the Chargers the whole entire time, and once they made their final pick, I kind of got a phone call to that. And me and my agent kind of talked, and we both agreed that we just wanted to head to L.A.
Yeah, man. So I know when the draft ends, and really throughout like the last few rounds on that third day, for a lot of guys, it's pretty hectic, right? Because usually within like 10 minutes of the draft ending, you've got to make your decision because teams will have to go on to the next. So walk me through, Tank. All right, the draft ends. Walk me through that period. How long was it until you made the decision? It's L.A. and what was that call like?
Well, ultimately, we knew like what teams liked us, so it was kind of like we looked at the rosters beforehand, before the draft was even over, and me and my agent came to an agreement like with the Chargers like right before the draft was over. I think before the 6th round was over with, we decided Chargers. So
okay, so you knew it was going to be L.A. if you didn't get picked.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was it about the Chargers that made that the right fit?
Just for me, they run a 3-4, man. I love playing defensive line within a 3-4 scheme. So I'm obviously a seasoned player. So just me knowing my game and know which moves that'll be best for me to be on the field the quickest. I just knew that the Chargers would be a great spot for me.
Jacobian Guillory's with us. So, Tank, did you get a chance to talk to Coach Harbaugh or any of the staff throughout the pre-draft process?
No, I kind of just talked to the defensive line coach like shortly after the draft.
What was your impressions?
Yeah, well, they said they really love my tape, and I know that they drafted center in the 2nd round where he plays at Florida. So I know like they've seen like tape of me. So like just knowing that they really appreciated my game and everything I had to bring to the table, it was the place I felt wanted, and I was really appreciated there.
It's Tank. I'm glad you're in L.A. because if it were L.A. or Cleveland, I'd much rather you be in L.A., dog.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like a little sunshine, little palm trees, and not the mistake by the lake, man.
The views are immaculate in L.A. I got a chance to go up there right before the season this past year. And man, just to see the mountain, like the mountains with the sunset and the huge highways, it was just something you don't see, here.
Was that your first time to LA this summer?
Well, I've been to California before, but LA, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. It's you live in there, Alexandria and Baton Rouge. Then you go out to LA, man. It's just,
it's completely different.
It's a different world, man. Hey, so tell me about the family, man. Like last time you were in studio, you had your baby boy with you, man. I'm sure y'all are moving out there together, man, to LA, yeah?
Yeah, so we're just I head out May 7th, and I'll be out there for a while. But once I get with rookie minicamp and OTAs done, we're gonna find a house or apartment out there, and then we're gonna transition into moving. But right now it's just it's gonna be me out there for a while.
Yeah.
But he'll be 2 in July.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on his birthday, man.
Yeah, both of our sons have July birthdays, so I remember that, man. Well, that's awesome, dude. Hey, a couple more for you. Walk me through. So now you said May 7th is obviously when rookie minicamps begin around the NFL. So you've got a little more than a week. What are you doing now through to head to LA for rookie minicamp?
Right now I'm training at Elite and I'm training at LSU, just training every day, really. Just doing what I have to do to get ready to be in the NFL. Did
the Chargers give you any insight, like as far as what they want you to be doing, like what they want you to work on or anything like that?
No, but not really. But I've been putting in work. Like I've been at LSU for a while, so I kind of know what my strengths and my weaknesses are, and I've been just leaning up and just preparing to attack the whole process all together. Yeah, man. Jacobian
Guillory is our guest. I know you're going to have time. Maybe you've had some time, man, since the season ended to kind of reflect on your years at LSU. As you think back on it, man, what's your thoughts on your time wearing the purple and gold?
Oh, man, I think for me it was just it was well lived because I didn't like I say all the time, I didn't think about transferring, I didn't think about going anywhere, but starting and finishing here was just really special for me. When I went down last year, didn't know when I was gonna play again, and coming back being a starter full time and having one of my best years is it's just full circle for me, and there's nothing but love from LSU for LSU, and it'll always be LSU.
Yeah, man. Have you gotten to meet Kiffin or any of the new staff yet?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I have, and wonderful guys. It's nothing but positive energy. All open arms. If I need anything, they're they make sure I have to hit them up. So it's been just open arms, even though I'm heading out the door while they're heading in like that. But it's been nothing but open arms since the moment they got there. And I've been to most of the practices and everything. And my son comes with me. But we usually go to every Saturday. But this past Saturday we didn't make it. But yeah, it's just been nothing but open arms. That's all I can say, really.
Hey man, what do you think about Coach Peoples kicking inside and coaching the tackles, man? Would you have wanted to be coached by him?
Oh man, I like the energy he coaches with, of course, but I nothing about just being coached by Kyle Williams and my recruitment process being compared to him. I think nothing that's close to none. But the energy Coach People brings is it's literally second to none. I'm so glad that those guys got somebody that's willing to push them and have no not care what he says, and just those guys are willing to work. So they get better. They literally got better and better every week. And I feel like this spring ball has just been a really good spring ball for those guys because they've gotten so many reps, and it's not even fall camp yet. So I just can't wait to see what the future holds.
Hey, Tank, you go out to the practice field. There's no mistaking where Kevin Peoples is on the field. Just listen.
Yes,
and oh, there he is. He's over there. He's yelling. The guy yelling. It's Peoples over there. Man, you said you're working out at Elite, man. You're a Bolt just like old Jay Kester, man. You know that?
Yes, sir.
Y'all rapped about that yet?
That jersey every day.
You got to get yours on the wall now.
Oh man, I know. I need one of his too.
You like the? Do you like the powder blue or you like that navy blue?
I was looking at the jerseys yesterday, and I honestly do like the navy blue better, but the powder blue is gonna have to grow on me.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Look, everybody likes that powder blue, but I'm kind of there's a way to make the powder blue look good. The new age Charger uniforms, not quite what the throwback powder blues look like. They don't call me and ask me for fashion advice. Hey Tank, look, man, I'm fired up for you, and I wish y'all the luck, man. Good health and good luck in rookie minicamp. We'll be following you along the way, man. We'll keep in touch. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, you got it. That's Jacobian Guillory. A dude is just the picture of perseverance, man. Waited his turn, became a starter, suffered that unfortunate Achilles injury, could have left at any point, decided to come back, persevered through it all, played his 5th season in Baton Rouge, and, just a dude that's easy to cheer for, especially in this era where you ask about loyalty and the guys sticking it out. Well, there's a guy that's done it. So easy to pull for, and really hoping that it goes great for him there in LA with the Chargers. So appreciate Tank for a couple of minutes. By the way, Mason Shipley, UDFA, who signed with the Saints out of Texas. Yeah, he did sign. I got that right? He signed with the Saints, right? Yeah, he signed with the Saints. He'll be with us in about 18 minutes after the top of the hour. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. Thank you, by the way, for voting Parish Construction and Roofing the best roofing company in the Advocates Best of Baton Rouge Awards. It's truly an honor. Earlier this year, we were named Best of Ascension in the Best of Ascension vote, and now Best of Baton Rouge in the Advocates Best of Baton Rouge Awards for 2026 Best Roofing Company. I tell you every day to do business with someone you know. It's me and Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and our great staff, and we live that every single day. We're from Louisiana. We want to help Louisianians by doing great work at a fair price at your home. So as we always say, ignore the door knockers, ignore the out-of-towners, do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. We're supposed to be at Spine Center. Unfortunately, we just had a weird connectivity issue in the building, so apologies for that. I raced back over here. Thanks to Moose for getting us started. We'll play a little catch-up. Taylor's here for Bourbon Dictionary when we come back. As I mentioned, Mason Shipley, Saints UDFA, in about 17 minutes from right now. Don't you move. Hour number 1, we roll along here on AFR.
After further review.
I love telling you about River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. But as much as I love telling you about River City's 1 hour air, I love letting other people tell you about River City's 1 hour air because third-party validation is worth its weight in gold. Barrett Smelly sent this 5-star Google review. All of the technicians they've used have been outstanding representatives for the company. And an A+ for Cody, who came out today. And for DJ, who comes regularly also, thanks to 1 hour air. I've had that experience. Barrett's had that experience. You will have that experience because at River City's 1 hour air, they have great employee retention because they hire great people. They keep them trained, and they are experts in the field, and they do fantastic work in your home. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Taylor's aboard. Talk a little booze. How are you, dude?
Good. You all right over there, man?
Doing okay. I mean, look, it's live radio. It's live media. Stuff happens. We're supposed to be at Spine Center. Had some connectivity issues. You got to make a call, right? So it's like, boom, get on the interstate, race back down I-10 to downtown Baton Rouge. My apologies to the little, the little sedan in the center lane that I was basically running off the road. But then again, get in the right lane. Get over in the slow lane. What are you doing, little car?
Anyway, driving in Baton Rouge, man.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, man. I probably walked out of the Spine Center on Bluebonnet I ran out of the Spine Center, Bluebonnet at about maybe 11 after maybe 7 after the hour.
Wow.
And I was back in studio by 3:30. So about 20 minutes to get from Bluebonnet to downtown Baton Rouge up to the 4th floor to grab my stuff and then get in studios. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I tuned in early in the show and it looks like I was watching Muse sit behind his desk.
No, we're good. We're good.
Something's going on here, man.
We got it. This just means when I get home, I deserve myself a stiff pour. What should I pour?
Oh, we just got some Old Carter. Do you like Old Carter? You've told me you don't like Old Carter.
Well, no, okay, no, hold on. The thing about Old Carter is they are very proud of Old Carter. And while I like it, I'm not sure that I like it for the price. So when I get the opportunity to buy Old Carter, I do, and then I usually use it to trade for something.
Well, yeah, this is the bourbon, and it's $220.
That's the
and
problem.
I will say, but they are proud of it. They have not gone up in price. It's been that price for like 4 or 5 years now since we've been carrying it. So they're inflation proof at least.
Or they just realize if they keep inflating, they've reached that inflection point where people aren't going to spend more than that. That might very well be.
I have seen there's been a smattering of that across, I think, all industries. People going backwards in pricing. Like recently, just lots of saving things, and I've noticed that just randomly. I'm not just talking about alcohol, just randomly. Anyway, I digress. But sorry.
No, it's all good. Hey, I want to get to what's new, but I also want to ask you, because I think you got your hands on this yesterday as well. So our buddy Q from 7-3 Distilling popped by and passed along a bottle to me of their whiskey tree, which you've talked about before, but this is finished in Steen cane syrup barrels.
Did you try it?
I have not opened it yet. That's probably what I'll sip tonight.
Yeah, and he explained to me what that bottle was for. Was that a pick for a local club? Maybe
it was they did it for the Bourbon Fest in New Orleans.
Yeah. That's what it was. So 7-3 Distilling Whiskey Tree. It's a 4-grain mash bill, I'm pretty sure. But yes, the Steen's barrel finish. He had a couple bottles open, and I tried one yesterday. It was very good, and he had a Calvados finished one too that was also very good. The Steen's one wasn't like sweet or anything. I don't like cane syrup. I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of cane syrup. But like this didn't taste like it at all. It just added a nice little bite to it to me. But it was nice, and I think that's part of their single barrel program in general. Like they're doing a lot of experimentation with different finishes. I tried some of their stuff, some different finishes other than those two at the distillery like a year or so ago. They're really good. But so you didn't try any of it yesterday?
No, he gave me an unopened bottle of it. Took it home. I have not opened it yet, but I would like to. It was interesting. He explained how they do it because you can't add syrup to it or anything to it for it to be whiskey. So they took the whiskey barrels, coated it with cane syrup, and then he said they would just rotate it so it was coating the entire interior. Then they would dump the syrup out of the barrel. And then they put the whiskey back in and then let it finish with the cane syrup. So it was interesting. I figured it would taste like pancakes.
See, I didn't even think to ask him about. I knew they didn't just add Steen cane syrup to it. I just thought that they had a little deal with Steen's where they were getting like barrel aged, like Steen's was actually aging syrup in barrels and sending barrels back to them. I didn't even think to ask that.
Yeah.
What that process looked like. That is not what I was expecting. I just assumed the other, because that's what most people do.
I will say, you and I have talked about it a bunch. But candidly, most Louisiana whiskeys have been bad. They've been bad products.
Yes.
7-3, I think, is so far the one that has taken the time to do it right and produced a really, really good product. So hat tip to the folks at 7-3.
It's good. Like I said, those finished bourbons that I had yesterday, if you see any sitting on a shelf at any stores, we don't have any, but I would suggest trying them, at least the Steens or the Calvados. I tried a Calvados barrel, like I said, too.
The
really
Steens one, he told me, was distillery only. So you'd have to get that one in New Orleans because, like you said, it was a pick. So I think he said they had a couple of cases left, but it's distillery only. So anybody in NOLA, pop one into 7-3 and snag a bottle or two. Anything else new?
We got the Old Carter. There was a couple things, and I've forgotten since. A new tumbling dice, a bottle and bond tumbling dice.
Okay.
That's a smaller distiller. We've actually done a barrel with them a long time ago.
I remember.
It was really good.
I remember.
Jesus, that was one of our original barrel picks. No, not original, but that was back when you could just pick a barrel and it would sell. So, like, it didn't even matter what it was. That's not the case anymore.
Well, pop on in. Calandro's right there, Mid-City on Government Street. Go yell at Taylor. Or talk. Yep. Don't yell at him. Just talk to him. All
you
right.
Can yell him, yeah.
Yeah, he probably won't care. All right, we appreciate it. Thanks, dude.
See you, man.
All right, man. It's after further review. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness Sports Centers coming up. When we come back, Mason Shipley signed a UDFA deal with the Saints. We'll talk to him next. It's AFR.
After further review.
If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit for all the reasons I say all the time. But remember also, the patronage refund is another reason. As a member-owned cooperative, First South Farm Credit shares their profits annually with their member borrowers. So it effectively, when you get your patronage refund, it effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. So let's say your rate is 6%, for example. When you get your patronage refund, that effectively lowers your cost of borrowing by about 1%, so like 6% to 5%. So it's just another way, another reason why doing business with First South Farm Credit makes sense. If you're thinking of buying land, you want to call First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, or log on to firstsouthland.com. Remember, firstsouthland.com for First South Farm Credit.